September 19th, 2024, Degenerates Unite Weekly. Hello out there, it's me, DJ Smearman. I'm joined by Jeremy. What's up, big boy?
What up?
Well, wow, how
What's
about
cookin'?
that? Yeah, no, I mean, week 2 in the books here was a crazy Sunday. 10 games going on at 1 o'clock. My red zone mind, I could barely keep up. It was absolute anarchy on my it was sensory overload. It was really
My
almost
TV
too
was
much.
overheating.
It was a great slate of games. Everything was happy. The league is in full swing right now, and we might as well not mess around and just jump right into the they them mayhem. And I'll start with my game. That's Zombies Ate My Neighbors, putting up 146 points against Tyreek 40-yard dash cam, who put up 123. I mean, hey, great week by me. Last week I was a little bit worried. You know, my kicker and my defense kind of carried me a lot most of the way. But this week it was everybody but. It was just a great performance. Metcalf, Neighbors, really just everyone just really came through. And then on the other side, Ian got an unreal performance from Alvin Kamara, 4 touchdowns, 43 fantasy points, really put his team on his back and was able to put up a respectable 123. But outside of Zay Flowers and maybe ETN, I think fell into the end zone at one point. It wasn't a great performance for him. And I mean, it was a good performance. And it sucks that you have to use a 43-point performance from Alvin Kamara in a losing week. But unfortunately for him, that's what happened, and I was able to get the win. Happy about it.
All right, next we got my matchup. Nico's Roughnecks beating Benz's Wilson by about 44 points. Just pretty much, Ben just had a bad game. None of his players hit their projections, and what are you going to do? I mean, he scored half of his projected overall points. It's just a bad game. He's got good players. I wouldn't be too worried, other than maybe running back 2 situation. Mm-hmm. But it happens, and it's unfortunate. He's 0-2 in the division, along with a couple other league members. It's a pretty rough start. When you're 0-2, it's okay. When you're 0-2 in the division, this is when you start to get a little worried to start the season. Then on my side, I wasn't really happy with the performance of my team. Nico Collins had a big game, leading receiver in the league right now through 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like, the main story of my team is Christian McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. Not playing week 1, I was like, okay, whatever, I get it. Now he's on IR. Now they're thinking week 10 comeback. That's rough.
Week 10?
And yeah, So I got Jordan Mason, which is great, but is he going to be able to put up those kind of numbers for 10 weeks as a rookie or whatever he is? Mm-hmm. I doubt it.
Yeah, and that 49ers offense seemed to stall out a little bit this week with, I mean, he was still able to get like 17 points, which is great. But it seems like they stalled out against Minnesota. So is like that a whole offense a fraud, or was that just a bad week?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they still got a ton of weapons, and they should be able to spread the ball around and make it easier for him, but I don't know. It's no Christian McCaffrey. It's not what I signed up for.
Next, we got Built Ford Tough beating London Calling 148-118. Another big dick number here, 148. Marvin Harrison Jr. came out of his shell, got 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and like 100 yards. He kind of just went off right away. J.K. Dobbins, everyone's favorite 12th round pick this year, is coming through. He looks like the comeback player of the year. And then Justin Jefferson got a casual 97-yard touchdown. So great performance from Jason here. 148 points. You got to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, 150 points basically, and he's the one crying, "Woe is me," over his injured lineup. You're doing pretty good.
This is true. I don't know if he could have really made a bad choice. He did put Charbonnet in for Aaron Jones, and that it's an extra almost 10 points right there. So it was good move by him to at least, it was in the bag, but that extra 10 points, you never know, it could come down to the end.
He's like a woman crying she's got no bread, but she's got a Virginia ham under her arm.
And then on the other side, you got London Calling putting up a respectable 118 points as well. Breece Hall, Devontae Adams got the in the end zone. Kicker, defense, they all did pretty good, but unfortunately he went up against a juggernaut on the other side who had a great week. I think T-Mac left this guy Rashid Shaheed, on his
Yeah,
bench
2 big
twice.
games in a row.
So
Yeah.
is it time? Is it time to let him loose for Najee Harris? I think so. If I'm gonna fix your team for you, yeah, I think right now is the time.
Next, we have a very, very close matchup between Fried Rice, Adam's team, and more DJ Less Bitchin' Evan. I like Evan's name and his avatar. They give me like a real like early 2000s energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the shocker thing, and then bitchin'. Yeah. So like I said, very close. I mean, of 3.5 yards, basically, the difference in this one.
Mm-hmm.
On Evan's team, he didn't really have anyone go off. They just put together a decent matchup. Obviously, Pacheco broken fibula, having surgery.
Where is the fibula? Is that in your arm or your leg?
I don't know. We'll have to get a medical guy on here. A skeleton to point at.
I think we got a doctor coming later this season. He'll fill us in on all injuries.
Okay. Yeah. So he's gonna be out for a while, and that was like a really good RB1, RB2 for Evan. And now he's looking at the wire probably. DeAndre Swift is in Chicago on kind of a do nothing offense, and he's not even like the main guy. So
yeah, questionable for sure.
Yeah. So then on AP's team, barely able to eke out the win. Good for him. The thing that stands out to me is Ezekiel Elliott is kind of a head scratcher pick, and to start him 2 weeks in a row. I think that chalk that up as a failed experiment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to know when to cut the cord here, and I think it's now. I mean, you can throw Barkley in there and then throw Singletary into the flex or something like that. But I think the Zeke's on that like you have to prove it to me type of thing. So I think that's where he has to go. And with this game, actually, it did come down to Monday night, and it actually came down to the final possession. If he had Devontae Smith going, so if Devontae or Jake Elliott got any more points on that final drive before it got picked off, it would have been a rough outing for AP. But a poor thrown ball from Jalen Hurts ended that drive, and the rest is history. Next, we got Nakua Matata beating Dicker. I barely know her. 131-97. Great performance here from Amy. 131 points. Jalen Hurts, Chris Godwin, James Conner again. This guy just won't die. And then Fairbairn had 2 monster weeks in a row. I mean, she didn't get much from her stud tight end Laporta for the second week in a row, but and her bench is looking a little red, looking a little injured moving forward, but maybe the early part of the season's the worst part for her. So once her team starts getting healthy, she'll be able to figure it out. But a great week from her, 131.
Yeah, can I just go back to the Fairbairn? I believe 2 50-yarders in both games. So interesting statistic this year. 35 of 37 50-yard field goals have been good. The 2 that were not good were both from Justin Tucker.
Wow.
So this is a whole new kicking. The NFL is changing, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
and this kicking, I think, is going to be bigger and bigger.
Yeah, not to kick a kicker when he's down, but Tucker is definitely not I'm not calling him washed, but he's not Justin Tucker from 5 years ago. An interesting stat man. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side, we got Dicker. I barely know her, 97 points. Mahomes continues to disappoint fantasy-wise. He's getting wins, but he doesn't really care about so he doesn't care about fantasy. He just wants the wins, but 15 points isn't great for you. Stevenson showed up. Hunter Henry, that was a good play, not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Evans showed that he's actually human. It wasn't a great week. You usually want to hit that 100-point threshold, but in this case, it wouldn't have helped you because Amy put up a great week. Didn't really leave much on the bench either, so it is what it is.
Speaking of that bench, though, for both these guys, or girl and guy, excuse me, they, them. Amy's got her first overall pick, or first round pick, is on IR.
Yeah.
But taking up a bench spot.
Yeah.
Njoku was listed as out for quite a few days before the game, and he wasn't
put on the IR.
Got put on IR. So they got to realize that there's something there. You could be picking up the next league winner off the wire with that spot.
This is true.
So,
absolutely. I think these two, oddly enough, were the lowest waiver movers or just moves people of the last season. So something to keep an eye out. we'll definitely be keeping track as the year goes, and we will call you out publicly, and we will let people know to bring where to bring their torches and their pitchforks.
Yep.
We know where you live. We'll get on a flight. We don't mind. We have nothing else to do. All right, so that's going to take us over to everyone's favorite segment. It's the DUW SVU case of the week.
Not so bad they committed murder. Now I'm a plot in the TV thriller. Case of the week, oh case of the week. I'm bouncing through all the world to see.
In this week, we're on to Terry's cousin murdering, doing other stuff, and killing. 146 to 77. This was a big week for Nick. 146 points. Kyler Murray, I think he's the number one quarterback in fantasy right now. Him and Josh Allen, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Josh Allen didn't do anything this week.
True. So I think Kyler Murray seems like a steal. Probably like the fifth quarterback off the draft board, looking like a stud, I think. Amon-Ra St. Brown woke up a little bit. He got 17. I think he was hobbling towards the end of the game, so he might be a little injured. A chain went off. James Cook went off on Thursday night. And, pretty much had double digits across the board. So, good outing from Nick. He must be very happy with his performance.
And on the loser side, on the special victim, very special victim.
Very.
He had some good performances. So CeeDee Lamb hit his projection. David Montgomery. But other than that, you're looking at Cooper Kupp, who left hurt. And then Jeff Wilson, Kelsey, Dotson, all scoring less than 3 points. Combining for less than 5, actually. Jeez. So that's pretty brutal, especially when you take that high draft pick on Kelsey as sort of get an edge. And for him to not deliver.
Yeah, you take that early tight end and you say to yourself, at least I don't have to worry about tight end for the rest of the year. And here you are week 3 worrying about your tight end. So,
it's Kelsey.
Yeah, and you can almost say the same thing about Laporta because they were jostling for tight end 1 and 2, like kind of going back and forth throughout the offseason, and neither of them have delivered through 2 weeks. So something to keep an eye on.
That investment, it's like makes it so hard to just bench him. But sometimes you just got to do it. And he does have the number 1 tight end on his bench, Brock Bowers.
That's hilarious.
I guess he's pretty good position. So.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you can trade one. I don't know. I'll manage your teams if you ask me. I'll do it. That'll take us over to our matchup to watch. And this is our first non-divisional game of the year. And I was looking through the teams. Yeah, there's a couple 2-0 teams going up against each other, but I wanted it to be a little bit more high stakes to that. So I kind of just found AP Fried Rice going up against Eustathios. That's a 2-0 team going against an 0-2 team here. Stathi's back is against the wall. He's currently in 11th place, very low points, 0-2. If he starts 0-3 with his points, that's going to be a tough hole to crawl out of. I mean, there's a lot of time left, but going down 0-3 is never good. And then on the other side, you got AP. He's 2-0. He scraped by in last week's game, but does that mean he has a whopper on the other side of it, or does that mean he's going to put up 90, 95 points again? So it should be interesting to watch. Right now, the projections are neck and neck. And a little backstory to this battle. AP attacked Stathi one time because he sent a picture of his living room and his TV was too high in the living room or whatever. And let's just say there's been bad blood since then.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's
that's his team name.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yes, so it's we'll see what happens here. It's going to be a dogfight, I think, and that's your matchup to watch. If you have anything to add?
I will say, just looking at the projections, he does have Brock Bowers and Kelsey both in the lineup.
Wow. Okay.
You don't often see a tight end flex, but it is his first year in the league. Can be daunting, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. I thought I was bringing in a competitor. I'm looking at 2 empty bench spots on his team right now, and Cooper Kupp, who's doubtful. You can't put him on IR if they're doubtful, I'm pretty sure. But we're looking at empty bench spots right now.
That's crazy.
Sorry, guys.
He's kind of like, he's got real fish energy, like from prison. Like he's the new fish.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's like basically spreading his cheeks for us.
So is this his opportunity to walk into the yard and knock out the 2-0
He's gonna
guy?
knock out AP. Yeah,
knock
exactly.
out the 2-0 guy, make a statement to the rest of everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either that or he's a bitch for the year.
That's great. All right. So that's your matchup to watch. And if that didn't raise the stakes, I mean, I don't know what's gonna. So there you go.
Well, everyone knows, our main bread and butter here is football, but we do like to branch out and talk about other things like I mentioned before, bread and butter. We're actually big foodies over here at the DUW podcast. And really, one of our idols, we're so lucky to have him here today, coming in to talk about food and football, two of our favorite things, is Gordon Ramsay, all the way from England. He'll be joining us.
Yes. Yes. Lovely. Thank you for having me, guys. Big fan of the podcast. Been listening for a long time. You say bread and butter earlier, and I think takes me back to my cottage in England, where I'm from. And it's lovely. It's brilliant. And I have a fantasy football team of my own, and hopefully I could shed some light on it for you fellas.
Oh, I'd love that. So what's some of your favorite food and football, thoughts going on? Like to hear what you like to say.
Gotcha. So I have a few favorite dishes, and what I've done magically has been to compare some of my favorite dishes to some of my fantasy football players for you folks today. So
well, that's interesting.
Yes. So I'll start with my favorite dish. Absolutely brilliant. Beef Wellington. It's got a chunky meat on the inside with a mushroom pate, and on the outside it's a little bit flaky. And when I think about a player like this, it's got to be Aaron Rodgers. Beef Wellington, it's supposed to be a masterpiece, but like Rodgers, sometimes it's overhyped and undercooked and overseasoned, and you expect perfection, but every now and then it falls apart, like the Packers in playoffs.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and as for the mushroom pate, Aaron Rodgers likes to indulge in psychedelics, so that's the connection I make there. Cool. All right, so what are some of the dishes that you love to make and kind of remind you some of the NFL players this season?
When I'm out in Peru, in the mountains of Peru, and I see these chicken eggs, I just want to put together some scrambled eggs. Yeah, they're basic as hell, like Tua Tagovailoa's brain currently. Scrambled to absolute perfection that he doesn't even know where he is, or he's disoriented because they're so good. Half cooked, salt over seasoned. You're not going to win with this guy.
So let me stop you right there. Hey, what are you doing in the mountains of Peru looking for chicken eggs?
Some of the best chickens you've ever had.
Oh, okay.
The eggs from the chickens.
Uh-huh.
You've never been to Peru.
Is that because of their diet?
You fucking muppet! You fucking nuts!
Sorry. All right, what's next? What are we having for dessert?
When I think of dessert, I think of sticky toffee pudding. I grew up on this with my mum down at the pub. We'd have it by the gallon. And just like sticky toffee pudding, I think of Travis Kelce, because he's constantly running in the mud. He's being dragged down by fame in this other unworldly creature, Taylor Swift. Let me just say, Travis Kelce, I'm sure, leaves sticky toffee pudding on her all the time, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. You talking about cum shots?
Brilliant.
All right, well, that sounds like a pretty good meal. I think I'll skip dessert, if you know what I mean. But all seriousness, thoughts and prayers to Tua. He shouldn't be back on a football field. He needs to be put into protective custody.
I just want to thank you and the podcast for having me. God bless. And may all your food dreams come true and your fantasy football dreams. Bless you. Thank you. Big shout out to Gordon Ramsay for joining us on that podcast. He seemed like a real nice guy, to be honest.
Yeah.
More soft-spoken than I thought he would be. I mean,
for sure.
Outside of like a random outburst, I think he was like pretty chill. It was like he was like hosting teen house kitchen rather than the adult house kitchen. You ever notice the difference?
Yeah.
There? Right.
And we will say, he did do that from England, so there's a time difference. So he had to be quiet to
Yes.
not wake anyone else up in the house.
Absolutely.
Is my gambling circle, also known as Jeremy Spoken, gambling circle, and we'll just go over last week's picks. I took the Patriots money line. They actually lost, but they would have covered if you took the spread. But I didn't suggest that because I
Yeah,
thought
well,
they were
that's
going to
too
win.
bad. You know,
and they
you have to
could've.
take the record for what you took, and
Yeah.
you know, it's not as easy as it looks. You know, people do it for years and years, and so you either have it or you don't. And it's too bad
Yeah.
you got off to such a bad start. But you know, I'm not going to get
Yeah,
involved.
he 1-1, so not terrible.
Well, you know,
Steelers.
people want
Steelers
results.
did win in Denver. Yeah, Steelers won. Pretty much exactly how I said it would go. But we'll look forward to week 2 and something I'm going to go against my gut. Something I don't typically do, but I almost never, ever gamble on Thursday Night Football. It's usually not a good game. It usually doesn't go how you think it's going to go. But I'm going to fade my hometown Pats and take the Jets -6. I think with the short week, you have Aaron Rodgers, who's like can probably play on like a day's notice and do pretty well. They're just a more explosive team, and I think they'll just win because the Patriots, you know, they have a short week to prepare. Yeah, I don't see Jacoby Brissett doing anything to put up enough points. So next, I have one that worries me a little bit because it seems kind of like an easy pick. It might be a trap, but hey, we're going to go with the Seahawks -4.5 at home. Dolphins with backup QB flying across the country. Kind of a big question mark. I just see the Seahawks are, you know, they're kind of rolling a little bit after that overtime win in New England, and they were putting up good offensive numbers. And I just don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to go in there and play against the 12th man. I'm sure it'll be competitive and pretty close. The coach is pretty clever, but I think I just got to go Seahawks.
Okay. I mean,
All right.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm excusing myself from all gambling talk, but I like those
Yes.
2 picks. I think those are 2
Oh, great.
healthy, good picks. Okay, you broke me down.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And so this has been the Jeremy Spoken Gambling Circle. Thank you very much.
All right, beautiful. Well, I think that's all the business that we need to take care of today.
I do. There is one thing I should probably mention.
Sure.
Because we're just gonna get out ahead of this. In the past, yes, the DUW podcast has had dealings with P. Diddy, and we've attended a lot of the same charity events, but we have never gotten invited to a freak off.
No, unfortunately not.
So, yeah, and honestly, kind of offended.
A little bit.
You know,
Like,
I mean, we tried. We'd like hint at it. And,
we
like,
nailed our high fives with them. We got like the cupping noise. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we were pretty chill.
Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck's wrong with us.
I know.
But
I think we have to
whatever.
look
He deserves
inward.
everything that's coming to him, I guess.
So I guess with that, I think we've covered all the business that we need to touch on. I appreciate you guys listening, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you.
Let's go week 3.